So now we're near the end of the game. We can tell this because there are very few country cards left, and when there are no country cards left, the game enters sudden death mode. In sudden death mode, when any player is eradicated, the game ends at the end of the current turn. So you never know exactly when the game's going to finish, but you have a pretty good idea that the end of the world is nearly upon us. So let's play the last few rounds of the game and see exactly what happens towards the end and then how the final scores are calculated. So currently it's Blue's turn. DNA phase for Blue. It controls one country, so it gets 1 DNA point. It doesn't get any bonus DNA because it's evolved something over its bonus DNA ability. A very powerful lethality trait combination. Next is the country phase. There's only one country card left, so it takes it and puts it down. And now there are no country cards left, so we enter sudden death mode. As soon as a player has no tokens left, the game will end at the end of the current turn. Evolution. Blue's got a pretty good evolutionary combination at the moment. It doesn't want to change anything, so it moves on to the infection phase. It has 3 infectivity traits, so that means 3 tokens, and it has cold resistance. So it can infect Russia and Kazakhstan. It can't fly anywhere else because South Africa's full and it can't reach Madagascar. So that's the infection phase. Now it's the death phase. Blue has 1, 2, 3, 4 lethality and it controls Russia and Russia is fully infected. So it must try to kill it using the death dice. Kazakhstan isn't fully infected, so it can't try to kill that. So let's roll for Russia. We need to get a number that is less than or equal to our lethality. 1. Russia's dies. So Blue gets 6 DNA points for those 6 tokens. The tokens are returned to the Blue. And Blue would get an event card, except it already has 3 event cards, so it doesn't get an event card. But Blue does still keep the country card. And Blue can't kill Kazakhstan, so now it moves on to the yellow player's turn. Yellow gets 1 DNA point because it controls South Africa. Country phase is skipped because we're in sudden death mode. Evolution, it doesn't want to evolve anything. Infection, the only country it can infect is Madagascar, but it doesn't have heat resistance, so it skips its infection phase. And finally, death phase. It can try and kill South Africa because it controls it and it's full. Yellow has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lethality traits, so it's got to roll a 5 or less. 6. Unlucky yellow. So yellow hasn't managed to kill South Africa in this instance, and now it's the red player's turn. However, for the sake of this video, I'm going to assume that yellow was lucky enough to roll a 3 instead. So yellow gets 3 DNA points, red gets 2 DNA points, yellow has 3 event cards, so it doesn't get an event card, but red does get one, and the tokens are returned. So now, there are no yellow tokens left on the board, so yellow's been eradicated, and it's the end of the yellow player's turn. So sudden death mode means that the game has now finished, and now we can enter the scoring. To calculate final scores, first of all we need to add the cost of the evolved traits back onto the DNA points track. So if we add up all of Blue's evolved traits onto their existing score, they're on 56. If we add all of Yellow's traits onto Yellow's existing score, they're on 48. And if we add all of Red's existing traits onto Red's score, they're also on 48. Now we need to allocate endgame bonuses, and we can use the endgame bonuses card to help players go through that. So the first bonus is a lucky escape bonus for the player who has the most tokens left on the board at the end of the game. And in this instance, it's blue, who has 2 tokens as opposed to red. So blue gets 4 points. Now we need to look at the continent killer bonuses. This is where players get bonuses for having killed the most countries in a given continent. So if we quickly sort through the country cards that players have killed, we'll be able to see who's done what where. So, who killed the most in South America? Blue killed 1 in South America, red killed none in South America, yellow managed to kill 2 in South America. So yellow gets 6 DNA points as a bonus. North America, who killed the most in North America? I think that was red with 3, so red gets 6. Europe, who killed the most in Europe? That was blue and yellow jointly. They both killed 2, so both of them get the bonus in that instance. Whoops. In Africa, that was yellow with 2. In Asia, that was Russia with 2. And nobody killed any countries in Oceania, so nobody gets the bonus for that. The final bonus is the ultimate wipeout bonus for the person who killed the largest country. And that, in this game, was China, with 8 hexagons on there. So yellow gets a bonus of 7 DNA points, which just pushes it over the edge to 73 DNA points, beating blue and red. If there had been a tie, then the player who can fall down to the floor first and pretend to be dead wins the tiebreak. So that's the end of Plaguing the board game, and humanity has basically been driven out and wiped out to extinction now. One thing to mention is that there is another way for sudden death mode to end the game, and that's if a player is stuck. If a player can't place any tokens or roll the death dice when sudden death mode is active, then the game ends instantly. You can find more details about that and the scoring in the final page of the rulebook, but that doesn't happen that often. Also in the rulebook, you can, on the final page, you can find out information how to use the virus expansion pack, as well as some optional rules which you can do to change the setup of the game in different ways. There's also information on how to find the companion app, which can give you further information about the game and other rules.